and good evening. It's Alan Robinson here from Vet Dynamics, and welcome to this July edition of the Practice Management webinar series. The summer's certainly arrived, and I think the holiday season seems to be getting here, and we seem to be working maybe a bit short-staffed and working a bit harder. Now, one of the things that we've been working on with our Platinum and Mastermind groups at Vet Dynamics is really helping practices to get a lot better stability in their businesses by bringing in a lot more structures and systems that allow the owners at least to get a little bit more distance from some of the decision making and organization. And in doing that, I've kind of realized that there's a lot of change needs to happen, and one thing that comes up and one thing we're constantly told is that exhorting your team and your staff to do better, or to putting in new initiatives or making change happen, is really very difficult. And the common response is, sorry, tried that, didn't work. And I know that from my own practice when I was in practice, and we certainly see it now, our groups at the moment. So, and I must admit, this is something we've had issues with in our own business as well. And so been very fortunate in that my brother Lee, who likes to be called Alan's brother, but he has got a real name, Lee, he's been working with us over the past 12 months, really instigating a lot of these changes. Now, he's come from a very different world from me. He's come from Australia, for one, but two, he's been working in process improvement and change management for a long time, and that's been in kind of insurance, IT, motor trades, etc., which rely very heavily on processes and systems being sustainable over time. So what we've been doing is working on some of the systems that he uses in those larger industries and trying to adapt them to use in veterinary practices, and we've been instigating some of these into veterinary practice over the last couple of months, and we've been having, I'm quite surprised at the stunning results it's been giving those practices, and really the sustainability of that implementation is really working well. One of the key problems is when try that didn't work kicks in, is you get a demotivated staff, a very cynical workforce, and people just don't want to bother with change anymore. So I think it's worth listening to see what these are. So I think Lee's going to give us a little rundown on how those systems work and how they're instigated in practice, and really some of the changes that have happened with that. So welcome, Lee. Thanks for coming along, and over to you. Try that, didn't work.
Thank you, brother. Yes, so there is, we've implemented the systems we're going to talk about tonight in very small places and of just a few staff, and in very large global manufacturing companies, and all with great success. It's really about the way we do it. What I want to first start off is just to mention that I've worked in a lot of practices now with Alan, and also in a lot of businesses who have implemented improvement and change programs, and of many different sorts, and some of those might be staff and client suggestion boxes, and email systems and notifications on computers, and write it on a whiteboard. And they seem to have started with a bit of a bang and then just stopped. And there's some fundamental problems with that. It's that they don't build in the sustainability to keep them moving along. There's a couple of reasons for that. Normally, it's a lot around the fact that the problems or the improvement suggestions go to one person to implement, and therefore that one person, and in a practice, that's quite often the owner or manager of a practice, are given all the improvements to carry out, and of course can't keep up with it. The other problem is there's no real team involvement, there's no team engagement, and this is critical in the process. And also we need to look at some quick wins to get the team engaged. So basically we're going to cover three key areas tonight. One is getting your team engaged, and why we need to do that, why we need an improvement and change program, and how to implement a sustainable improvement program. So we're going to be covering that off. So the first thing I'd like to do is ask you all a question, and that is, what is the most important aspect of your business? And is it what is it that we must have? Whoops, there, just gave you the answer, don't look. But what's the thing that we all consider we must have in the business? Now, most practices and business owners and staff will say it's the clients. We must have clients. With no clients, there's no business. However, I'll argue that point that we do need our team. If we don't have our team, and quite often they're not listed in this most important aspect. Just before we get on to the team, though, I just want to cover a little bit on clients. And primarily, there's three sorts of clients. Now, those clients, and we've all experienced this, come in three packages. One, are clients that are not engaged in the practice. These people will come to the practice because it's convenient, they take it or leave it, and the fact is that these ones are very unlikely to recommend your practice to fellow pet owners. And I think we can all identify those people who've come into the practice. Now, research tells us that they will spend the minimum they have to maintain their pet or look after their pet. We then have an engaged client. Now, they're generally loyal to the client, to the practice. They're reasonably loyal. They might go somewhere else. They'll go down the road for cheap vaccination, but they'll come back, and they'll recommend it if someone's asked, where do you take your animal? I go down to Joe Blogg's veterinary practice. Now, strangely enough, research also tells us that they will also spend the minimum amount. The people we need to have walking into our practice are those who are emotionally engaged. These are the ones who want to be part of your practice family. They're very loyal. They're good advocates. They will turn up even if they don't have to, and they will generally seek the opportunity to recommend you. They will tell people before they ask. If they see a fellow pet owner, they will tell them about your practice. That's the clients we want, and research tells us they will spend 40% more per year and 40% more per visit at your practice. So I think we'd all agree, and I think we can all know of clients who are that fit into one of those categories. But really, if we could fill the practice up with the emotionally engaged clients, we'd all be very, very pleased with that. The secret to this is that you will not get emotionally engaged clients unless you have an emotionally engaged team. And that's simply, you must have a team who are as emotionally engaged in your practice as you want these clients to be. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we can get that emotionally engaged team. And basically, there is three ways we can do that. One is by having effective team meetings. This is where our team get together. They can have a meeting with a clear objective. The team interact and discuss and resolve issues, and where they can contribute, and this is very important, where they can contribute to the betterment of the practice. A lot of business owners do not recognize that their team actually want to contribute to the practice. And we're going to talk more about this one. The second thing is, we want effective and structured teams. The second thing is that we want a team with a shared vision. We want a team that understands where your practice is going and how they can contribute to that vision. The third is by having clear expectations for your team members and for your divisional areas, such as your reception team and nursing team. What we're going to be talking about tonight is a little bit on this first one, which is the team meetings. And as I said, we're looking for meetings that are effective, they're structured, and have clear objectives, and where the team can contribute to the betterment of the business. So just a little bit quickly on meetings, and I might say that, again, my time I've been here with Alan and visiting practices, and this is in other businesses as well, that meetings tend to be a total waste of time. What most practices do is you'll find they have a vet meeting